Rev up your engines!
Smurf asks, Scotty, the front tires are worn on my 2008 Accord and need replacing. Is it okay to buy used tires to save some money? Well, normally I would advise against buying used tires because I know guys who run tire stores. And when people buy tires, they generally buy new tires because they either have a problem with their old tires, they're noisy, or they get flats all the time, or they're just worn out. And who wants to buy tires like that? I said you're better off pricing new tires, seeing what range, what kind of tires you want. Like, you don't need a Z-rated tire if you're not driving over 100 miles an hour, and you might just need normal economy tires. But there's one situation where I'd say go ahead and buy used tires, and that's from a junkyard. Cars get wrecked or the engines blow up for various reasons. They might have very good late model tires on them, and they take the tires off and sell them. If you look at them and they're not cracked and ripped, I got a lot of customers that actually buy tires from a junkyard and they save a whole bunch of money. But that's about the only place that I'd go and do it, because you go to a tire store, why are the used tires there? You know, why did people buy new tires? Unless it's a crooked tire store that's always selling people tires that don't need them. Nicholas Isatalo says, Scotty, is it safe to keep driving with a leaking power steering pump as long as I keep replacing the fluid? Okay, you keep replacing the fluid, it's not going to damage the power steering system because you keep the fluid up. But it depends where the fluid's going, because it's got to be leaking somewhere. And if it's leaking all over your engine, it can ruin the alternator, it can ruin the fan belts, and it can get on sensors and destroy them. And if it's a really bad leak, it can squirt on the exhaust and start a fire. So you want to see where the leak is actually coming from. And if it's just kind of dripping on the ground, you want to keep adding it, go right ahead. I've had customers do that for years. Especially if it's a small leak and say they only have to put a bottle of those 8-ounce things in once every month or something like that, then it's not that big of a deal. Richards Lellis says, what do you think about a 69 Buick Wildcat and a 78 Cadillac DeVille? Were they reliable back in the day? Which one's better now? Which one should I get, not get? Oh, definitely get the 69 Buick Wildcat. My grandfather owned one of those, and he was a mechanic. Those were nice cars, and they're somewhat collectible. The Cadillac DeVille, they were cookie cutter cars, and 78 Cadillac was making the greatest cars in the world. They started to make them cheaper. A 69 Buick Wildcat, that's a cool car to get. Get that and fix it up. Well, if you have to. If it doesn't need fixing up, just buy it as is and take care of it. That's definitely what I do. I'd stay away from that Cadillac, because I had a customer actually bought that same one. It was an endless money pit, and he ended up selling it for about $8,000 less than he had into the thing. When he was finally done, his wife made him take it out of the garage. She was sick of looking at it. AR Conquest says, Scotty, I bought a 2002 Buick Century with 50,000 miles for $5,000. I get a good deal. There's a 4-speed automatic transmission and a V6. Well, you're kind of in a bizarre situation. It's a 17-year-old car. Now, it's only got 50,000 miles, and you paid $5,000. For the mileage, that's a good price. But for the year, you kind of overpaid, because a Buick Century isn't really a collector's item or anything. But if it runs good and everything works, hey, be happy, because look what a brand new car costs. And if that's the real mileage with 50,000 real miles, it can still go quite some time. And back then, they were making them better than they're making them today. So, it could be a fine deal for that. I would have just paid less, but just because of the age. 17-year-old Buick, it doesn't go for that much money. Elevated Science says, Scotty, what do you think about the Infiniti G35 Coupe? I bought an 06 G35 automatic for $5,000 with 110,000 miles. It runs strong. Fun cars to drive. The only problem is, as they age, they can be very, very expensive to repair. Generally, they don't start falling apart until they get maybe 170, 180. So baby it. Even though it's a fast car, don't drive around like a maniac. Baby it. And you never know how it's going to last. You didn't pay that much for it. I mean, you paid so much less than the original owner paid for it. And hey, you get your money's worth if it lasts for a couple of years for you. Just baby it, though. Don't drive it like a maniac race car, because they can go really fast, but then they have a tendency of falling apart, especially when they're automatic transmissions. That's the weakest part of them. Coins900 says, Scotty, I want to get a classic car as my first car. Any suggestions? Well, it depends on what kind of car you want, how much you want to spend. You want a real classic, get like a 67 Mustang, but you're going to pay a lot of money for one. They're very expensive. It all depends on what you want to pay and what you want to get. Now, let's say you want a 60s car. If you want something that's kind of a little bit unique, is going to cost this much, realize the Mustang was based on the same chassis as the Ford Falcon. And you can get those a lot cheaper. Fix one of those up, They can run quite well, especially if they got the V8 engine in them, and you're going to pay a lot less. It all depends on how much you want to pay and what kind of a vehicle you want to get. If you stick to like a Ford from that era, parts are readily available, they can run a really long time, that's not a bad way to go.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.